Alright, so now I'm in the process of putting everything back together. Now we're going to start with the rear valve cover and replacing the gaskets. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll turn these upside down. I didn't really get to clean this the way I wanted to because I just want to get this shit back together. So in the future I'm just going to buy spare parts and do stuff there and then replace them with whatever it is I do. So I'm going to assume that the rear and valve cover gaskets are like the same. I guess they look the same. So. Yeah, they look pretty much the same. So, I guess this just goes. They just go in the groove. Now, I've heard of people putting on some kind of silicone sealant and then putting the gasket on, but then I heard that that's not necessary, so I'm gonna assume it's not necessary. They seem to be pretty much in place. Stoves, O-ring gaskets. Yeah, it's kind of like snap in. Yes. Okay. I guess I'll just turn it over and yeah. Seems to hold long enough. So alright, let me just uncover the engine and start putting the stuff on. Alright, so now that I got this uncovered, I just wiped down the surface of where the valve cover is going to meet. So I just wipe this down, wipe down the edges, make sure it's free of debris. And just be careful putting the valve cover down. Putting the valve cover down. Hopefully all the gaskets stay in place. They seem to. Alright. Hopefully nothing moved. Oh no, it's not in place. Oh no. Okay, let me squeeze this out. Wait a minute. Okay, that seems to be it. Yep. So I'm just gonna double check, make sure that the gasket hasn't moved, and then I'll start bolting everything down. Alright, so now that I got the valve cover on and I put the bolts in, but I didn't tighten them, came across a manual that basically says to torque the bolts down to 2.9 foot-pounds. Now I think that's very, very not tight. But that's what it says. That's what it says. Now I think my torque wrench goes up in increments of 5s and 10s. Let me see. Yeah, it goes up in increments of 5s and 10s. So I guess. I guess I can put it. Okay, I guess I can put it up to 5. Okay, so I'll just set mine to 3 foot-pounds, just because I still think that's very light. So Oh, also, there's a specific way that we gotta tighten these up. Now, I wrote it down over here. So we gotta start with this bolt. You know, before I even tighten it, maybe just somewhat get them on to the point where they're just about to be tight. Alright, so I somewhat tightened them up because they were too loose. So ooh. Oh, there we go. Make sure. Yep. That's tight. Now we go to number 2 back here. Oh. No. Whatever. Two. Now we go to number 3. It. Go. 3. Where's number 4? 4 is up here. Hey, pay attention, man. Make sure you get the angle. It is. There we go. Okay. 4. And number 5 will be this one up here. There we go. 5. 6 is over there. Basically, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's the order that we got to tighten these up in. Okay, so now we got the valve cover on. We got all the bolts torqued down. So now we're gonna put in the spark plugs. Now I don't have like a gauge, like a gap tester or measurer, but I would advise you, if you have one or don't have one, if you have the opportunity to go get one, just to make sure there's a gap correctly. I think these are supposed to be gapped between like 0.040 and 0.044 inches. So you can double check that for me. I'm not 100% sure. So we're just gonna put these new NGK iridium spark plugs in. I'm just gonna hand tighten them. Get this out of there. Yeah, I'm just gonna hand tighten them for now, and then we're gonna torque them down to 15 foot-pounds because that's the information I got. So that's the information we're gonna go with. 15 foot-pounds. Okay. Alright, so that's on. So now I'm going to grab my torque wrench and I'm going to set it to 15. So 5, 10, 15. Tighten it up. Now let's do this. That's weird. Oh, there we go. Once you hear that click, you stop. Okay, next one. There we go. And the last one. Do that click and stop. Alright, that's the rear valve cover. Let's move on to the front valve cover. Okay, so we got the rear valve cover on and torqued. The rear spark plug's on already. Now we're going to move on to the front valve cover. Now, before I forget, I'm going to put on the, I believe this is the PCV valve. It goes on yonder. And this is a 15 millimeter wrench. And not gonna go too crazy. It's on. Okay, it's on. It's probably needs to be crazy tight, but so here we're gonna do the same thing we did with the rear valve cover. Gonna put on a new gasket. Yes. So get this on here. Just fits right into the grooves. So put it back down. So this will just be filled in by the pressure. This makes me a little nervous. This right here, but that should seat well. Good. Now onto these. Okay, so this here, I don't want to make a mess, have that flying off somewhere. So now the gaskets are on, and hopefully everything stays in place as I put it back in place. It seems to be on something. Okay. Yeah, so it seems to be in place. Okay, so that seems to be on the right position. So I'm gonna put all the bolts in, torque them down, and before I forget, because I have it written down. The front ones, the order to torque them is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So once I put the bolts in, torque them down, I'm going to take out the old spark plugs because I never took these out and put in the new ones. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the valve cover on, I torqued the bolts, got the new spark plugs in there, and did the little clips for the spark plug wires in the back. So now we're going to replace the actual spark plug wires. So we'll getting rid of these and putting these on. So let me get to that real quick, and yeah, we'll see where we go from there. Alright, so I got the spark plugs on. I got these to kind of fit on, but hey, I got the cover on, so you won't see this part in the middle. But so far, I like how it's turning out. Like the yellow and blue. Now, next would be to do the plenum, which I'm about to do right now. So I'm gonna take this out of here. I have the gasket. I have a new one. 2 actually, because they fucked up. They sent me 2. But that's next, the plenum. Alright, so I changed the gasket on the plenum gasket. I just put the plenum on, and I forgot that there's like a little sensor that plugs under this. It's like a little plug, so remember to put that on before you put the plenum in place, because then it'll be really hard to reach. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the rest of the bolts on, and you know, try to finish it off from here. And then oh yeah, the throttle body, still got to put that on, but hopefully I'll be able to finish today, if not tomorrow. Let's see.